Hey guys, the Boring Engineer here, back with another lockpicking video. Sorry about the long hiatus between videos. Life got in the way, but I'm back and I've got a pretty cool lock today actually I want to talk about. So this is the CompX Turbine lock. So it's kind of a new design, a little different. It's their replacement to the 2-bar lock, which we've covered in some other videos. Which in itself is a pretty unique lock, but I guess they wanted to get a new one on the market, and so this is what they've come up with. Now you'll notice it's fairly similar to your standard tubular lock, with a couple exceptions. Obviously it has these cutouts in it, and as you can see, the key is odd and it's going to be really hard to copy. To be honest, I really don't know outside of the company who would be able to copy these things. As far as I know, only one person has publicly picked these before. I've been working on it off and on for a while. Feral Shooter, and real good credit goes to him. He has a technique, and I'll send you I'll put a link to his video in the description here. But he uses a wiper insert, just a standard wiper insert, and a probe tool to probe along and open one of these bad boys. Really cool technique. I honestly had given up on using a wiper insert for the longest time, because if you use like any other wiper other than one that's just kind of the right dimensions, it's very hard to get it to stay and to tension right. I had a lot of trouble with this, and I kept tensioning off of this outer shell. The inner shell moves with the lock core, but the outer doesn't. So getting it all to tension just right, it was a little bit of a struggle for me. So I honestly had given up some time ago, and started making tools. So I started making this crazy custom tension ring sort of wrench thing. I thought maybe that'd work. It didn't work. It sucked. So what I ended up doing actually is modifying a standard tubular pick. I can talk about the dimensions a little later, but basically you need to modify the inner and outer diameter of one of these, and then modify the pins, you see, so they stick out just a little bit more. But after that, I mean, it becomes pretty easy and pretty standard picking with a tubular lock pick. And let's see if we can get it. So you just kind of punch in a couple times and start wiggling. And eventually you should be able if you're lucky to get it open. Might have to reset. Let's try resetting our tool. Just gonna reset those so that they're flat again. Increase the tension slightly on the tension ring and reset. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, that picked this. Here, let's see if I can show you with the tailpiece. I gotta get this in right. Tailpiece turns. So I've drilled this out, if you can't tell, obviously. So it has this set pin in there that locks everything in together. You can't get these apart without drilling them out. So I've drilled this guy out, and sadly, I mean, it took a little bit of work, right, to get that apart, or to get that open. But whoops, went flying off there. Let's take a look at the guts, because I think the guts are really interesting, especially considering how relatively easy of a pick that was. There's some interesting stuff in here, guys. Honestly, it's different than I would have expected, and I think CompX did a really good job. They just kind of didn't secure it against that attack that I just did. So all you have to do is you drill out that pin, and then you take off this outer lock body. So that's just pretty plain. I think it's a hardened casting. It seems pretty hard. Alright, and then to get this apart, I like to hold it perfectly parallel and then separate the top and bottom halves very carefully, and that gives you this chamber and this other chamber. Now there are floating loose pins in this thing, so we have to be really careful with this. I'm starting to the clockwise side of the large gap, and I'm calling the first one pin 1. So let's see if we can drop these out without losing everything. So there's pin 1. Two. 3. 4. 5. 6. And 7. Alright, so those are the bottom pins. Again, we're going to start here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to grab some tweezers, see if I can do it this way. 1, 2, 3. Oops. Come here. 4 with the spring. Springs are all identical, by the way. 5. Oops. Lost count somewhere along the way. We're already at 7. Must have doubled up on numbers. I haven't done videos in a long time, guys. I apologize. So, yeah, my narration quality is poor at best. Let's get all this organized here and zoom in on the pins, because the pins are interesting. I think, it's honestly beautiful manufacturing work on these pins, and so I really, I think CompX did a really cool job with these, but unfortunately it's just not that hard of a pick. That's not great. Alright, let's take a look at this. There we go. Okay, so top pins, you can see that, bottom pins, I guess is what we'd call them. It's confusing because it's all kind of backwards on this lock. But these key pins there, they have a little cutout in them, a little bit, just to hang you up, so that if you overset, it all kind of locks up. So that make individual, single pin picking difficult. Also, you'll notice that the 1 and the 7 top pins, are also have a cutout in them that you have to drop onto, so they will always pick last if you were picking these single pin, and then the rest of these are typical standard with just a slight bevel on the nose there. Again, I think these are beautifully made. I really do. I think they're beautiful. you know, the only thing that would make this lock a hell of a lot better would just simply being a couple different springs, so that, you know, your tubular picks weren't useful. Otherwise, it's not a terrible lock, and it's kind of a hard pick, honestly. So, you know, a little disappointing. But that's what it is. So then check out, here's the Bible and the core. So they just slip together like that. And that's the whole lock. So yeah, cool lock. Interesting that you know, CompX put so much effort into this thing, but in the end it can be defeated by a slightly modified tubular pick. If anyone's interested in the dimensions and everything and how I modified this pick, please let me know in the comments, and I'd be happy to talk about it with you guys. Otherwise, hope to be putting out some more videos at a more regular interval. And so yeah, I'll see you guys later, and please leave a comment if you have any questions. Thank you. Hey guys, I realized I should probably single pin pick this thing while I've got it here. Might as well. So not the end of the video, so sorry about that. So how I like to get this done, and most of the trick of this lock is down to tension wrench placement, at least what I've found. And I like to get my wrench in just to the side of this, what I call pin number 1, and if you got it in good, you'll be able to see that center pin wiggle. You know, you got it there, and you can start up. I use kind of medium heavy tension, and you just go around and touch each pin. You don't need to press that far. You do not want to overset. Alright, so there we go. I got to click on, what is that, number 5 and 7. Nothing yet on 1. Good little click on 3. And that's it. It's open. Alright, I'm going to take this out and show you that the tailpiece wiggles. So yeah, you can see we have an open, and now we're back locked again. So if you wanted to get this actually open in practice, you'd have to pick it all the way around. Not going to do that today, but anyway, that kind of sums up the Turbine. If you guys got any questions, like I said, just drop them in the comments, and see you on the next video. Thanks. Bye.